This is Brawl's tier list. One of the worst characters in Brawl is actually not even on their game's own tier list, and while there's a little bit of a technicality, that doesn't stop this character from widely being considered as one of the worst characters in all of Smash. To some people at least. If Ivysaur was separated from Pokemon Trainer, many competitive Brawl veterans speculate that Ivysaur would be lower than Ganondorf, the actual worst character of the whole game. Some people think the exact opposite, and Ivysaur is a low tier character, but they're far from being the worst in the game. It really just depends on your opinion. This character being a part of another fighter's moveset kept them from being on the tier list. When I made my video on how bad are Brawl's low tiers, many people left comments wondering where Ivysaur was. You could thank one character from keeping them out of the bottom tier of the tier list, and that's obviously Pokemon Trainer. Well, Pokemon Trainer is a blessing and a curse. We will for sure dive into that, while what keeps Pokemon Trainer as a whole from being a bottom tier character is Charizard and Squirtle. Sing the praise of Squirtle's ability to potentially been a high tier character if they weren't tied down to some of Pokemon Trainer's flaws. Squirtle's moves are super safe, like his down tilt and forward tilt are great tools for pressuring with their low amounts of end lag. And you would think a smaller stubby character, they would have a terrible grab range. But Squirtle's, it's pretty good. Squirtle's aerials had very little end lag, being Squirtle's combo tools and even KO tools, like up air or back air more specifically. The character even had plenty of tech he could use to allow him to slip and slide on stage, like he's hydroplaning. He for sure is supposed to be the weaker character of the trio, but in reality he does have KO power. Maybe not the best amount of KO power compared to Charizard, but it's decent. Despite having a lot of positives on paper, he's still held down by Pokemon Trainer's flaws, and we will go into them later. And he's the second lightest character in the game, which does kind of suck for Squirtle. Charizard, while not being as good as the water starter, they had some good elements like grab range and many powerful attacks, having a really spammable Nair and side special, which actually side special is crazy good. His forward smash can KO as early as 80%, and his range on his tilts are pretty good considering he doesn't have a sword or anything. Imagine if Charizard had a sword, oh my god. However, Charizard more specifically is supposed to be the larger, hard-hitting character that in turn gets comboed like a hacky sack. When he's put into a disadvantaged state, you really start to see the flaws of Charizard. His tech rolls are terrible, super easy to punish, especially when he's trying to recover. You can even try to camp him as he's really big and he gets comboed hard, punishable by the large amounts of end lag on his moves. The point of the Pokemon Trainer's archetype is to encourage the player to switch from each Pokemon during the match. And you can see that from these small things like being forced to switch out to the next Pokemon as soon as you lose a stock. Or even hard programmed things like the stamina mechanic, which don't worry, oh boy, strap in for that one. In a way, a character like this you would think could be very solid. Each Pokemon has their own strengths and weaknesses, and you can try to avoid those weaknesses by using different Pokemon. In theory, Pokemon Trainer would have easily been possibly a high tier character, which is why Ivysaur is so terrible. Ivysaur's moves in theory are supposed to be the middle ground between Squirtle and Charizard. But before I rip on Ivysaur, I actually do want to give them some pointers. Ivysaur actually has some decent tools. The character can be very effective at racking up damage. Forward Smash is a competent smash attack because it's large amounts of range and KO potential. Dang. And although it's pretty laggy, his up smash is the strongest up smash in the whole game. It's a solid tool for KOing. He has decent aerials like forward air that do need to be sweet spotted, and it's kind of harder to link these moves together, but if you manage to hit them, they can be rewarding. Dash attack even. The rest of Ivysaur's moves, they're either really easy to punish or they're just lackluster. Ivysaur's grabs, having one of the best pivot grabs. However, Ivysaur's standing grab has a very laggy miss animation, and the rest of Ivysaur's moves are either pretty mediocre or just not doing the character too many favors. In general, their moveset has a lot of promise, but there's just some things holding the character back. Down air has a meteor smash hitbox, although it's super difficult to hit, and back air is actually quite a solid move, keeping opponents away and applying pressure. However, its multi-hits add to stamina rather quickly, and its damage is downright laughable. Just look at this. Or even Bullet Seed. The move actually is quite a solid tool if used correctly. However, it can be easy to DI out of. It could have been easier to hit with this move. Some people think this move is actually underrated in Ivysaur's kit. Some people think it's bad. It just really depends on your perspective, I guess. Ivysaur's recovery is a tether recovery. However, it's super easy to edgeguard as all you have to do is just hold the ledge, and even Ivysaur's own tether can literally just put Ivysaur in free fall. How nice. Plenty of Ivysaur's KO moves are overall too slow and risky to be used, especially against the higher tiered characters in the game. While some characters in Brawl have to do very little to get KOs, while Ivysaur is the exact opposite. They have to put plenty of work in to get that kill. I haven't even brought up some of Ivysaur's bigger flaws. The flaw I'm sure most of you have probably been waiting for, and a lot of people might take it for granted. It's essentially the exact opposite of what characters like Jigglypuff have, who are known for their extremely high airspeed in games like Melee. Melee Puff shows how good airspeed can make a character and just benefit their aerial combo game, their recovery, their ability to wall of pain off stage. Well, Ivysaur is the exact opposite. Ivysaur's airspeed is terrible. It's so bad it affects Ivysaur's recovery, aerial combos, and it makes gimping Ivysaur even easier as their terrible recovery isn't doing them that many favors. Neither is their airspeed. Meaning you can't really challenge opponents off stage that easily with Ivysaur, just much more of a risk for the character. It is possible to do some mix-ups here and there, for sure, but it's harder to do compared to other characters. I wanted to wait a little bit further to talk about this mechanic as it's one of the biggest flaws of Pokemon Trainer's entire character. It's like the giant weight tied to the character's leg and it's holding them down. Honestly, one of the worst mechanics for a Smash character in the game. Stamina. Stamina begins as soon as the match starts, and you start with a full bar of stamina. As soon as the match continues, you will get progressively weaker second by second. The longer the Pokemon is out, you'll get closer to seeing this fatigued animation showing that the Pokemon is getting tired. So in total, you have 3 minutes and 20 seconds of actual stamina realistically. However, that's me being very generous. There's another added layer to this mechanic, is performing moves makes stamina go down even further. So realistically, 3 minutes and 20 seconds of stamina is me being unrealistic. When you throw out any attack, your stamina will drop down even further, and this will result in the mechanic essentially forcing you to switch out, or else they will become extremely weak. Their KO power will become terrible and their damage capabilities will just be laughable. It will affect both of them at the same time. If your stamina points drop below 40, the Pokemon will become really tired and their moves will be only 70% as powerful. You're essentially going to get punished hard if you're trying to KO with stamina. Although you can do some really neat stamina footstool combos, I don't really think this is enough to offset the flaws. The only way you can reset stamina is if you don't use the Pokemon for a full 2 minutes and 5 seconds to fully replenish it. And if you lose a stock, you would think, maybe this possibly could reset stamina? No, it doesn't. Yes, you're hearing me right. It does not reset when you lose a stock. When a Pokemon loses a stock, you have your stamina cut down significantly. It will require you to wait and use another Pokemon. This mechanic was absolutely terrible. Let me show you some cute examples of how bad this is. Do you like to just spam aerials in place for fun? Me too. Well, you don't want to do that because stamina is kicking in every time you perform a move. Let's say you accidentally performed Ivysaur's Rapid Jab. There's a point of stamina waving by for every single hit of Rapid Jab. Hope to God you're not getting camped because, oh God, yeah. You can camp Ivysaur to make stamina drop lower, yes. And I hope to God you're not getting camped by the opponent because, buckle in. Because I'm sure you're wondering, gee, what if I just camped Pokemon Trainer and waited for their stamina mechanic to kneecap them? You know what, you can do that. That is very much a strategy if you want to avoid being KO'd. If you have the mobility to run away and camp Pokemon Trainer out, Meta Knight, you do you. I'm not gonna stop you. Time is literally of the essence for Pokemon Trainer, more than any other character in the game. Honest content, you're forgetting something, you silly goose. No, actually, I saved this for last. This is actually the icing on the cake to Ivysaur's whole moveset. If you think this is pretty bad so far, this is about to get worse. I bet a lot of people forget in Brawl that there's actually Pokemon type effectiveness on Pokemon Trainer. Yes, the good old water beats fire, grass beats water, Fire beats grass. Well, what if I told you that they said, you know what, hold my beer, let's put that mechanic in Smash. Now some of you are probably asking, oh, what could go wrong? A quirky little mechanic being ported over to Smash. What's the big deal here? Or you know, this could make Ivysaur die as early as 5% from Snake's forward smash. Yes, there is no DI, but you get the point. This is really bad. At least 13 characters having access to KO moves that destroy Ivysaur. Luigi's up special KOs Ivysaur at 40%. Oh, don't forget Mario's forward smash, Captain Falcon's Falcon Punch, Ike's Eruption, Game & Watch's forward smash. You get the point. This is getting hilarious. The list goes on and on and on. The fire, flame type moves are super common moves in Smash. This is easily the most unnecessary weakness to a character in the game. Whether intentional or not, it made Ivysaur get dealt 10% more knockback from fire moves. This type effectiveness hardly affected Charizard as, I mean, come on, Lamal, who uses water moves in this game? Oh no, Flood, please don't hurt me, no! It actually buffed Squirtle significantly, as the exact opposite happened for Squirtle. If Squirtle is dealt by a fire type move, it will deal 10% less knockback. In comparison, Squirtle actually will live longer than Ivysaur if the same fire move is dealt to Squirtle, even though Squirtle is technically the lighter character. That's how much this affects Ivysaur, and it's how deadly type effectiveness can be. Add this to another one of Squirtle's positives. There's definitely good aspects of Pokemon Trainer's kit, but the flaws outweigh plenty of the good things going on for the character. Pokemon Trainer as a whole would be absent in Smash Wii U and 3DS, many people speculating that it was because of hardware limitations and the 3DS kept Pokemon Trainer from returning, as it affected characters like the Ice Climbers. Although this could have been an opportunity to separate the three of them, kind of like what Project M did. And well, Sakurai would separate the Pokemon Trainer, except only Charizard would make a return in Smash 4. The lesser two popular starters were most likely dropped in favor of keeping Zard, as he's one of the most popular Pokemon of all time. I mean, come on. Charizard could run for president and I'd probably vote for him. Sorry, that is stupid. Okay, if anything, Ivysaur feels like a character that has so much potential. I mean, look at Ivysaur in games like Project M, where they are separated from Pokemon Trainer and have a well-oiled moveset, gaining new moves, faster speed across the board, and actually having consistent combos and a better recovery. It's like what the Brawl version would have wished to be. Sure, Project M Ivysaur was nowhere near being busted or anything, but it was a solid version of the character for sure, and I actually used a secondary Ivysaur back in the day. We would even see this with the official versions of Smash, as Ivysaur would return with Pokemon Trainer in Smash Ultimate. Who would have thought? Everyone's here, baby. First and foremost, thankfully, the stamina mechanic was completely removed. A huge weight being lifted off Pokemon Trainer's moveset. This was easily the biggest thing holding the character down. And to be honest, that change alone would have made Pokemon Trainer a better character out the gate. Ivysaur, more specifically, was the worst character of the bunch, nowhere near being close to viable compared to the other two. And thankfully, he was given a laundry list of buffs. The Pokemon type weakness was completely removed. Ivysaur is no longer given a huge weakness to fire type moves. This also affected the other two Pokemon as well, slightly nerfing Squirtle, mostly benefiting Ivysaur by a large margin. Ivysaur's moveset was given mobility increases and lag decreases across their whole moveset. Its recovery would be buffed as the changes to later Smash games' ledge mechanics made it harder to edgeguard Ivysaur. Many of Ivysaur's attacks are league stronger and actually can KO now, like down smash or back air, down air, which is actually significantly easier to hit the Meteor Smash hitboxes in this game. Plenty more stronger moves and rewarding tools in Ivysaur's kit. Plenty things that are better for racking up damage, like down throw, nair, even rapid jab being a heavily buffed version of the move with a finisher at the end. Its throws in general were buffed, gaining 2 combo throws being up throw and down throw, being much stronger in Smash Ultimate, along with back throw being a possible KO throw. Its throw input is less laggy and less punishable, and which these tools are going to buff its potential for comboing. Razor Leaf was also made into a stronger approaching tool as its speed was increased and it has more hit lag, and it no longer randomly spins in a less consistent direction like it could in Brawl, significantly buffing Ivysaur's keep away ability. The knockback on Bullet Seed was increased and the move got a major damage increase, and even Vine Whip has more offensive use as Ivysaur doesn't immediately go into a helpless state anymore, definitely buffing this move. And the grounded and aerial versions also have this same level of sweet spot, improving its utility. Swapping Pokemon was majorly buffed. There's less cooldown when swapping. Switching in general is a lot faster. They did remove the ability to remove swaps end lag at ledge like you could at Brawl, and you can't swap to ignore scaling moves. Overall, Squirtle and Charizard were given strong buffs across their entire kit, while Ivysaur being the most buffed of the trio. Ivysaur is definitely one of the most buffed characters from Brawl all the way to Smash Ultimate. Pokemon Trainer would be heavily improved in Smash Ultimate's engine, ending up as an A+ tier character. Looks like Ivysaur got the happy ending after all. Thank you guys for watching this video. There's a Patreon down below if you guys want to support the channel and get videos early. Check out this video right here. I have an album streaming on Spotify, Zach Honest Sapphire. If you guys listen to it, seriously, it means the world to me. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Take care. Peace.